All right, so I wanted to jump on and do a review of the Anbernic RG35xx Plus handheld gaming system. I am absolutely in love with this thing. I'm just going to come right out and say it. This is going to be a little bit longer review because I want to show you guys the actual games and stuff on here. But to suffice to start, I would buy this thing in a heartbeat over and over again. If you are a nostalgic gamer that wants to play all the old games and have them all in one spot, look at it. It looks like the original Game Boy, which I grew up on, but it has the Super Nintendo game, so you got like your shoulder fire buttons on the back. It's really small. I mean, you can see, it fits in the palm of my hand, but it's still like really comfortable in the hand. So it doesn't feel like I'm like really like trying to do tiny stuff, you know what I'm saying? So absolutely in love with this thing. Other than the shoulder buttons, it's got, the Super Nintendo button layout. On the top, you got a mini HDMI, so you can play it right into your TV if you want a bigger screen. On this side, you have your power, reset, your SD card, and you have an actual second slot for another SD card. On the bottom, you have your charging port and your headphones. So I'm going to fire this thing up because like I said, I want to show you guys that this is better than most of the units out there. I know that there's a lot of these, retro gaming systems out there that claim to have hundreds, if not thousands of games. What I have found and why I don't rave a lot about these is because most of them are just, knockoff games that you would never want to play, or you play them for a hot second and then you're just over it because it's not the nostalgia that we're looking for. So let me zoom in here. I'm going to try to operate this from close up and hopefully you guys can see that all right, but I'm going to be working backwards. So a couple cool things about it. You got your history of games that you've been playing under your favorites here. Let me see if I can zoom that, make that a little clearer. Maybe not. There we go. Right here, you got your favorites. You can actually hit the start button when you're on a game that you're going to want to play, and it'll automatically add it to your favorites. So if we go into mine, you can see I marked Aladdin, Boy and His Blob, Skate or Die, all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Tiny Toon. I picked all the games that I used to play as a kid myself. Over here, you got RA games. There's a whole bunch of games in here. It's unreal, like how many games are actually in this system. And you got your game rooms where you can choose from PSP, PlayStation 1. You got your vertical arcade games if you were big, like going to the arcade. All your stand-ups are in there. You got your Neo Geo, FB Neo, MAME game. Can't read. Your Game Boy Advance, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega, Game Boy Color, regular Game Boy. You can literally play in the original black and white of the original Game Boy games. Just all kinds of options. I kind of stick in the NES and Super NES because that's what I grew up on. So if we look in NES now, I will say this has almost all the nostalgic games. The ones it doesn't have is the Mario Bros. But I do, as I understand, this can connect to Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and you can download ROMs and stuff like that. I haven't gotten that deep into it yet. But if we go into Nintendo, if I push up, you can see this is number 1. It goes clear up to 432. And if we keep going, you can see Zelda 2, Twin Cobra, there's the Tiny Toons, all your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Street Fighter 2010, Star Force. I mean, it has all, you got your Spider-Mans. Like, this is all the big games that, those of us who are around when the Nintendo was out, these are what we played as kids. Skate or Die, Ski or Die. There's just so many of them, you guys. It's absolutely amazing. If I go back and we drop down to Super Nintendo, there's 429 Super Nintendo games. X-Men, Time Cop, it just, the list goes on. Street Fighter, Super Street Fighter, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I mean, it's, there you go, right there. The Street Fighter Alpha, all the games that we grew up absolutely loving and playing the snot out of. I've been playing this thing for hours already today on a single battery charge, and I'm having so much fun with this. This is the real deal. It's sturdy. The build quality is good. The battery lasts long. The screen itself is big and bright, so you don't have any problems seeing the game you're playing for the most part. All in all, I cannot recommend this more highly. I love this game system already, and I will obviously do more videos as I find out cool functions about it. So I hope that helps you guys, but buy with confidence. You're going to love this thing.